Well, let's discuss that with Independent Women's Voice President and Fox News contributor Tammy Bruce, who's in New York, and here with me in Washington, Hamza Khan, who's a Democratic strategist. It's great to see both of you. Tammy,
hey there.
I'm worried that these tech companies become so big and so powerful, they're like mini governments. And then you start seeing the censorship kick in. Your reaction tonight, now gun instructional videos, not bomb-making videos, but gun instructional videos banned.
And that's the worry, is that if they're concerned about the nature of teaching someone how to make a gun, it's different than it having an impact on instructional videos, even safety videos, how to clean your firearm, things like that, because we know this will be abused, right? But this is the other dynamic. Of course, it's not technically censorship in that the First Amendment's about the government and forestalling the government from doing this. But we're living in an age now that even the founders couldn't really imagine, where entities like Google and Facebook, as we know now, have such a large control of content of information about our own lives, and that we rely on them. We've built lives around and businesses around these entities, that now the issue becomes about squelching commercial speech. And this is what the government's, it's ironic, of course, as conservatives, we don't want more government regulation. But this is now a world that has been created where it's not just about convenience or fun of communication, but it is about our lives and our businesses and how we raise our children, et cetera. So we do have to begin to deal with it.
Gotta be careful. And let's move on and talk about, Hamza, what this means for viewpoint discrimination. Could this be the beginning of viewpoint discrimination by some of these tech companies? Like, it's now making a gun. Mm-hmm. What about making something that could be turned into a knife?
So we have to think about this from a couple point of view. First point of view that I think is really important is to recognize that maybe we have to revisit legislation in Congress when it comes to monopolistic competition and the power.
Okay, you're killing our audience. They're monopolistic competition.
Well,
oh my God, I'm dying.
It's important for us to talk about this.
I get your point, but you're so big and you're so powerful that you can control big bandwidths of information.
Exactly, and that limits freedom of expression in a lot of different ways. But if we want to move on to the other point that you have here, which comes down to whether or not YouTube should have this content on their site or not, we have to remember freedom of enterprise, freedom of speech goes both ways. A large company has decided that in their right, which they're a right to do, that they do not want to have this content on their website. And that's something we have to respect.
Would you feel the same way? Would you feel the same way if a major company that big, for instance, decided we're not going to put any pick your politically correct LGBT support group on our site because we don't agree with it? Would you not be on this show tonight saying, how dare you control, and that's casting aspersions on an entire community of gun owners here or people who have free choice to be whatever they want sexually?
Well, Laura, doesn't that bring us back to lobby hobby and cases like that a couple of years ago where on the right you were talking exactly about the same thing? We have to respect freedom of speech being a two-way street. This is what America is all about. Protecting freedom of enterprise, protecting the right of YouTube and Google and Alphabet, their parent company, not to have this content on there. That's what America was based on. That's what the First Amendment's about.
And Tammy, real quick, final word, real quick. We're almost out of time.
Yeah, look, it's also, you can deal with it on the abortion issue. If it's suddenly a discussion about getting rid of the nature of arguments from pro-choicers, you would be hearing the same kind of outrage. But we've got to make sure, as your point goes to, that this is about viewpoints and the nature of what's being squelched. It's like shadow banning conservatives on Twitter and the other problems we've had with conservative news sites on Facebook. We've already seen the trend, and ironically and strangely enough, it doesn't impact people on the left, does it?
All right, guys, we're out of time. A great segment. We'll have you both back. I know it's